Hi, my name is Gene Berg. Berg Enterprises. A family-owned business here. And of course, this Friday night is the rally that we put on for the home for abused women and children. And so all funds, everything goes to the charity. We donate all of our time here. We volunteer the people here. We volunteer the people that we need to get the print stuff for. We volunteer people to have people volunteer to give us prizes so that we can sell raffle tickets. Last year, we raised something like $2,000 and probably, my Volkswagen bus full of supplies that they needed out for their everyday living. And this is the third one that we've done. And this year is bigger. There's people from everywhere this year. I'm just amazed at people how the class. This class is just beyond belief. And we moved to California in 1969. One of the first things that we were introduced to was a California Volkswagen rally. And I was just new in town, didn't know where the heck I was going, didn't know what I was doing or anything, and I was told that's perfectly all right. Just read the instructions and follow them. You'll make it. You'll do just fine. And by golly, we won second place. So it was pretty phenomenal we were able to do that. The old days in 69, 70, 71, 72, 73 was not uncommon to have some of these Volkswagen rallies that had as many as 200-300 cars participating in them. And these guys were kind of young yet, and they'd get a little rowdy at the end of the rallies. Unfortunately, we haven't had any of that at all in these. We do have a lot of young kids, but they're really very good adults about it. They do enjoy the rally. They enjoy being around all the rest of the VW people. This year, we've got people from Japan running the rally. They had to get an interpreter to read for them so that they could understand what the instructions were so they could even go on the rally. I think that's pretty phenomenal myself.
Right.
So,
How many people go on the rally?
This year we'll probably have about 120, 125 people go on the rally. I haven't counted yet, but boy, it's just been a steady stream of people out there.
And this is the third year?
Third year that we've done it, yeah. And I noticed that we got 2 full baskets of supplies for the sheepfold. I have no idea how many dollars worth of raffle tickets we've sold this far, but we do know that we sold more raffle tickets already this year, so we're gonna raise some money for the sheepfold, and we're gonna do a lot of work for them.
So tell me how long you've been in business here.
Well,
Tell me a little bit about your business.
first of all, I started business as a business in the Volkswagen business in 1961, in October of 1961 in Renton, Washington. Worked out of a small garage there, did repair work. Just loved having fast cars. I had fast Ford Flatheads before I got married and couldn't afford race cars anymore. And once I got married, I decided, gee, I still like power. I like to go fast. I like something that runs nice. And so I started fooling around, hopping up Volkswagens, and was fairly successful with it. In fact, people would come around to me and say, well, would you do mine? Would you fix mine up? So I picked a few people up, and it just kind of continued to grow and grow and grow. And we started making products because the stuff just wasn't available. You couldn't get close ratio gears. There was no such thing. People put a Porsche transmission in, and I thought, well, there's got to be a simpler way to do it. So we contacted a marine gear company, and they made close ratio gears for us back in 1963 or 4. And we made linkages, we made intake manifolds and oil sumps. And each time we would run into a product that we couldn't get or wasn't available or whatever was available was not very good, we would just go off and make the darn thing, you know. And I really just wanted it for me. I wasn't interested in selling stuff, and it kind of sparked the interest of Joe Bertone of Empty, and he bought parts from us and sold them. And then when Dean Lowry left Empty, why we sold Dino Dinosaurs parts, and we showed with them in 1969, February 69. We showed at the SEMA show with them here in Anaheim. And they kept saying, well, why don't you just move down here? You know, why don't you just close up in Seattle and move down here? This is where it's all happening. So we thought about it. We went home in February, and we thought about it and thought about it. And so we came down for the bug in spring, and kind of thought maybe we might do that. So we thought, well, we'll kind of look around for a house. So we opened the paper, and my commitments were to have a swimming pool and a 4-bedroom house. And so we opened the paper up, and here was this one, and my wife called on them, and we went and looked at it and bought it. So then we were committed. So we moved down here in June of 1969, as soon as school was out, and we went into business with Dean and Ken Lowry, Dino Dinosaurs, till December 15th of 1969. And I guess I just wasn't cut out to be a partner with somebody, because I'm kind of hard-headed and one way. So I went off on my own again and started Berg Enterprises in 1969, December 15th, 1969. And it's just strictly out of the commitment of wanting parts for myself and continuing to do research on parts for myself, and knowing that, somewhere down the line people would be interested in them and buy them. And sometimes we've made stuff that didn't sell for 10 years. But it was what I wanted. I wanted a 5-speed transmission, so I built it and put it in the car, and it took us forever to sell it. And then we quit making them. And all of a sudden, now we make them again. So, and we've sold the whole first production run already. So sometimes you're ahead of your times a little bit. And, you get lucky sometimes and make something that sells right away.
I've always been curious, how many NHRA titles has your family name won over the years?
Boy, NHRA titles, I think we've held 4 or 5 records with NHRA.
And you've won various events?
Numerous events, yeah. I mean, the race car is one, I'd hate to even stop the count. Gary has a scrapbook that's probably 2 inches thick, full of wins and runner-ups with NHRA and bug-ins, of course. Won a lot of bug-ins and
using all your products?
Yeah, basically using all of our products. And
as a test? Is that
strictly as a test bed? We wanted to race anyhow, and it gave us a good test bed because it would stand up under the racing. Then we could put it into a street application and start testing it to make sure that it would stand up under street applications, so that when the product was sold to a customer, we knew how long it would live. We knew what kind of return on the investment that the customer was going to get. And that's always been very critical to us. I mean, we could have been a buy-sell house, and we could have bought a lot of stuff out of other countries and just sold it to make a profit, but that's not really what we're about. We're a family-oriented business. We're a family-oriented people. We're more concerned about the industry than we are, lots of money. We still live in the same $33,000 house we bought in 1969. I don't need any fancy houses. I don't need any fancy cars. I still drive Volkswagen. And to me, it's more important to spend my time and the joy of my life in working on Volkswagen parts, developing things, and watching the industry grow. Especially when Hot Rod Magazine projected that in 1970 that the Volkswagen craze would be over in 5 years. Now let's see, this is 95, so that's 85, 90. So they missed it by about 20 years.
Yeah.
And it's still going today.
So to kind of wrap things up, I understand that you, another part of your family, Gary Berg, recently did pretty good in Australia on his tour there. You want to say something about that?
Well, yeah.
I understand maybe he has a record down there.
Yeah, he set the Australian record for super stock speed, which is 4-cylinder, normally aspirated. He's racing right now this weekend again. So we expect him to set the record even lower. The record was 1080 at 123 or 4, and he set it to 1058 at 127 something. So he now holds the record in Australia also. Like I say, I expect him to go even faster because he backed it up with a number that was way too low to have the 58 back up to the early 41 number. VW down in Australia paid to bring the car to Australia, and Gary was going to be there anyhow visiting. So he'll be down there for about 3 more weeks, 2 more races. He has this weekend and next weekend, and then he'll load the car up.
What's the actual date that the car will be back in the States?
The car won't be back here probably until August.
August of '95.
Once because they'll put her on the boat at the end of July, or June. And it takes 30 days roughly to get here. So, at the very earliest it would be here would be the end of July, good part of August. So, sometime in August is when we actually expect it. Because it depends on exactly when the boat's being on there. Gary will leave the 30th. His visa runs out on the 30th, so he's going to fly back to Hawaii, spend a week with their burial. And then he'll come back over here. And he's had his house leased now. The lease is up on the house July 1st, so it works out just about right for him to come back. And he's kind of looking forward to it. He's found out how tough things can be in other countries.
Yeah, how nice it is in America.
We're spoiled. We are spoiled.
That's how I felt when I came back from Australia.
Yeah, he says, Dad, he says, I can't understand it. They don't even have a furnace in their house. He says, it is in the middle of winter, and you're freezing to death.
Right.
He says, they just put more clothes on, and he says, they don't seem to worry about it. They're used to it. So,
well, thanks for taking the time and giving us a little interview and being so much a part of the VW industry.
oh, thank you very much. It is my pleasure.
Thank you, Gene.
Very much.